Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be teaching you one of the best chess opening traps you can play on your opponent and win in just a matter of a few moves. So without further ado, let's get started. The opening trap that I'll be discussing with you guys is called the Stafford Gambit, and the game begins with white playing e4. Black continues with e5, and this is the king's pawn opening. White plays knight to f3, and here we play knight to f6. We are in the Petrov Defense, having the Russian game on the board. After this, we are allowing white to capture the pawn on e5. So after knight takes e5, we are actually not going to be recapturing on e4 as we're setting a trap up here. So we're going to play knight to c6, inviting white to exchange knights. And if we analyze here, it's going to be actually a very good option if white exchange knights because white is already up in material. So after knight takes c6, we're going to take with our d pawn. And here we can see we are attacking the pawn on e4. So white has two options to protect this pawn, and both lose. So the first option is d3. And the second one is very commonly played in blitz and bullet games, which is e5. And we're going to be explaining and going through the different types of moves in these two variations. So let's start off with d3. So after d3, we're going to play bishop to c5, weakening this pawn on f2. And here a very common move is bishop to g5 played by white. And here it's pinning our knight and also threatening to play e5, later winning this knight. After this, we're going to play a very stunning move and surprising move, which is knight takes e4. And if white immediately captures on the queen, it's completely lost, as we play bishop takes f2 check. The king only spot is king c2. After king to e2, we're going to play this amazing move, which is later checkmate, bishop to g4, and this prevents white's king from going to any of these spots and is checkmated. It's a beautiful checkmate just with 3 pieces on the board. So let's see what happens. Let's just say white knows this trap that we're playing, and instead of capturing on the queen, let's see what happens if white captures the knight instead. So capturing the knight. So if d takes e4, here many players as black will continue with capturing the bishop, but it's actually not the best play, and there's a much better play for this. So instead of capturing the bishop here, we're actually going to be taking on the f2 pawn. So bishop takes f2. And here, as you can see, white cannot recapture on f2 because of this undefended queen now, which we can later capture and win. So instead, the king's option is e2. And here we're following by playing an amazing move, which is bishop to g4 check, pinning the king and queen. So after king is forced to capture on the f2 bishop, we're simply going to capture this queen and up by queen and can simply win this game in a matter of few moves. Okay, now let's see what happens if we go back over here. Let's see what happens if bishop to e3 is played, and this is actually a very common move. And here, no worries, it also wins. So here we're going to capture on the bishop. So after bishop to e3 played by white, we're going to play bishop takes e3 and pawn takes e3. And as you can see, after f took a and e3, white opened this file. So as black, we're going to take advantage of this, and we're going to play queen to h4, giving a check. And if white doesn't think properly and continues with king to e2, we have this checkmate on f2. This is checkmate. So it wouldn't be the best option to play king to e2, but the forced and best move here is g3. And here we'll capture with the knight. Now, if white captures back, we're just going to capture the rook, and we are up in material, and as you can see, white's pawn structure here is very bad. We can later play things like bishop to h3, attacking, putting some pressure on this f1 bishop, and we can later win this bishop, and these pawns will later be won by our queen, and it's an easy win for us. Let's say instead of capturing the knight here, what happens if white's rook moves on g1, attacking this knight? We're going to move our knight and allow this discovered check to be playing. If king e2 is playing again, same thing occurs. We have queen f2 checkmate. So instead, it's forced for white to play rook to g3. And we're not going to capture here, actually. We're going to play queen takes h2, attacking this rook, and also threatening checkmate on f2. And here, the best move and commonly played move would be rook to g2 by white. It's attacking the queen, and it's also preventing this checkmate on f2. And here we're going to play queen h4 check. A lot of checks in this game, right? After this, the only move, king to e2. And then we have the winning move here, which is bishop to d4 check. It's pinning the queen and king, and it's forced. The king has nowhere to move. It's forced for the rook to capture. After rook takes g4, we're not going to capture, but we're going to play queen f2, like you guessed, check and mate. Okay, so this was all about variation 1. I showed you a few different types of moves that can be played and what could be responded as black, and I hope it comes use in your games. Now let's see what happens. Another commonly played move, which is e5, and that's very actually common in bullet games. I've experienced it a lot, and blitz. So let's see what we can respond with that. So let's see what happens if white plays e5 instead of d3. Now, as you can see, e5 is attacking our knight on f6, and it's on the 5th rank, which is a very good accomplishment for white here. Not many pieces do get on the 5th rank, especially pawns, and it's very good as it dominates these squares. Very crucial squares. So after e5, we're going to play knight to e4, d3, and here we're going to play another surprising move, let's just say, and we're going to play bishop to c5, attacking this pawn. Weakening this pawn. And after a very common move, very common, just capturing this knight that was freely given away, d takes e4, we're going to play bishop takes f2, very similar to the other trap. And after bishop takes f2, we're giving a check to the king, and the king cannot capture due to this undefended queen like we talked about before. So the only move is king e2 in this case. And again, we're going to play a similar move, best move, brilliant move, bishop to g4 check. King is forced to capture on this bishop, and after that is played, we can take with either the queen or the bishop, and we will win by a full entire queen. And we are won as black. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was an amazing thing to film. And please don't forget to subscribe and like. And thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys in my next video.